And the Oscar goes to
Frances McDormand, 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri.
If I may be so honored to have all the female nominees in every category stand with me in this room tonight. The actors, Meryl, if you do it, everybody else will, come on. The filmmakers, the producers, the directors, the writers, the cinematographer, the composers, the songwriters, the designers. Okay, look around, everybody. Look around, ladies and gentlemen, because we all have stories to tell and projects we need finance. Don't talk to us about it at the parties tonight. Invite us into your office in a couple days, or you can come to ours, whichever suits you best, and we'll tell you all about them. I have 2 words to leave with you tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Inclusion rider.
9 billion names of pod.
From Atlanta,
In 2017, we made more movies here than in Hollywood.
it's the 9 Billion Names of Pod with Dan Bauman and Michael Reed. I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm personally going to bankrupt MoviePass.
So let's talk about some stuff.
Alrighty.
Movies. We the Oscars have happened. Those awards that they give each other for doing stuff.
The little statues that they give you, and sometimes they're stolen, if only temporarily.
Yeah, did you hear that story? Was it Allison Janney's? No,
It was Frances McDormand.
Right, Frances McDormand.
Apparently
that's
at the,
right.
I think it's the Governor's
Ball, which is the big.
You would think that for an award ceremony like that, there would be like an Oscar cubby with security.
Or, somebody watching out for all these people who are carrying around gold statues.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know, but that happened, and she got it back.
She got it back, but
some guy thought he was going to make it. I don't know what the story is.
Yeah.
It's like, what are you going to do with it? Like, I'm going to put it on eBay. Oh, yeah, you'll get a lot of money for it on eBay.
Right.
Just go for that. I think there's even a controversy about people, like a family, would sell, their departed relatives, 1942 Oscar for, cinematography.
Uh-huh.
And I think there's rules now, but maybe not then, that you have to sign, like, these are the property of the Academy. You can have them until you die and your estate and everything, but selling them, you can't do that. I seem to recall that that's a change they made in the somewhat recent-ish past.
Right.
Because, people are, you work in Hollywood, you do well, or you do well once, and then you can't pay your rent, and you've got an Oscar. You're like, you know what? If this is going to keep me afloat for another year, screw it, I'm going to sell it.
Well, I read Entertainment Weekly had a whole Oscar issue, and it went back through the history of the Academy Awards and everything. And one of the articles or one of the little side blurbs or something was, what is an Oscar actually worth? And they said, material, it's worth about $600.
Yeah.
It's the provenance of whose it is.
Right.
Is what, if you got,
right.
if you got some catering Oscar, like you said, for, for cinematography from the 30s from a movie no one ever saw, that's one thing. You get,
well, I mean, and a Best Actor Oscar from 1947 for a film that no one pays any attention to, it still has a little bit.
Yeah, that's
of
got some juice.
But like you said, if it's I was the 3rd lead caterer on
or costume design for some musical.
Yeah.
No,
well, in certain circles,
right.
That's a very coveted Oscar.
Right.
Edith Head probably has 90 of them.
Oh, at least. Yeah.
She's probably they could melt it down and create her casket,
a life-size one.
Well, she's already passed away, but still.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe she just kept winning them and never stopped. Let's talk Oscar.
Yeah. So what were the winners? Were we even close? I mean,
well, if we had kept track of what we said ahead of time, but then again, having not seen almost any of the films, Best Picture went to Shape of Water.
That really surprised me.
Yeah, me too.
Really surprised me.
It's a good film.
Yeah.
It's not Oscar worthy, in my opinion. Maybe Oscar nomination worthy, but not.
It deserved, it won production design as well, I believe, and that
sure I don't.
I believe it did, and absolutely was warranted. That makes more sense than Best Picture to me, without a doubt, because it was a gorgeous
Well,
film.
yeah, there's certain films like that a Star Wars film is not going to get the Academy Award for Best Actor or Actress.
No.
But it's going to get some sound. It's going to get some, maybe some editing, maybe some visual effects.
It actually, Last Jedi got shut out.
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
only
it did.
nominated for two
Yeah,
awards,
it
but that's
didn't.
always,
Yeah, you know what? Those, I'm sure the people in the marketing department at Disney are going, oh no, we didn't win any Oscars. How will we ever market the DVD release of Last Jedi?
Right.
We can't put Oscar winner.
Yeah.
Oscar nominated. I guess we'll just have to put that.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And technically, if you get a nomination for best third tier sound editing on interstitial material, it's still an Oscar.
Yeah.
It's still a nomination, and you can say Oscar nominated.
Nominated for X amount of Oscars,
Yeah.
as they do.
Well, if you're nominated for one, you just call it Oscar nominated. So.
So
Now,
yeah, that's
now
really...
of the Best Picture, I have not seen Call Me by Your Name.
Nope.
On the list. Darkest Hour.
Nope.
On the list. Dunkirk just destroyed almost everybody in all the technical awards for the most part.
Yeah, that one sound, which
I mean,
usually goes to
it
your
just
Star
kept
Wars.
going, and like I said, it looks good. It's on the list.
I'm still. I swear, I think that was what I thought was going to win. Like, any other year than now, that would have taken it for sure. The big old war drama.
Yeah, well, that's the Academy Award is basically, at least up until somewhat recently, was made by, was comprised of people that might have perhaps lived through World War II.
Yeah.
I mean, Saving Private Ryan, wow,
Yep.
Schindler's List, the big.
That's why I thought.
Right.
Yeah.
My opinion now of the rest of the nominations was for Get Out, Lady Bird, Phantom Thread, The Post, and Three Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I've seen Three Billboards. Thank you, Movie Pass. I've seen The Post. Thank you, Movie Pass. I've seen Phantom Thread before Movie Pass.
Yeah.
I've seen Lady Bird. Thank you, Movie Pass. And I've seen Get Out. So I've seen almost all of the Best Picture nominated films except for Dunkirk, Darkest Hour, and Call Me by Your Name, which I will get to. Trust me, because Gary Oldman won the best actor statue.
Yep.
Well deserved and long freaking overdue.
Now, is it the Academy has a tendency to give out like Time's Up awards, like like cumulative.
Right,
Oscars.
exactly.
You haven't seen it yet.
No, I've not seen it.
I've not seen it. So
and when I first saw the previews for it, or at least I was like, another Churchill World War II. I've seen this done so many times, but you know what? Someone could take a fresh take on it. It's Gary Oldman, so I will always see it. Maybe not in the theater, but I
Right.
will definitely put it in my Netflix queue.
Yep.
I was hoping it was going to come back into the theaters because of the
Oscar wins,
because of the Oscars. Now they extended The Post and Lady Bird in the theaters because of the Oscars, because it was kind of dwindling down.
And Lady Bird probably wasn't a huge release. I mean, it was kind of a smallish indie film.
It's an indie film, and I've seen it. It's right up my alley in the sense it's what I've termed the slice of life films. It's there are obstacles to overcome and things that happen, but it's not a grand drama.
Yeah.
It's just, for lack of a better term, here's some shit that happened.
Yeah.
Become a voyeur on this, this
part
portion
of this people's lives.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't really anything special. I mean, it's Greta Gerwig's first directorial, effort. Well accomplished. There wasn't any parts where I went,
Right.
I just don't see what the hype was for.
Huh.
Maybe it's because of the Me Too movement. They said we've got to get a woman director, and I don't know.
Well, you would have thought your Patty Jenkins might have gotten nominated as well
For Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
that goes a little too much against the Academy's grain.
I see that,
You know?
but in the climate, you would think, oh my God, we got to
Right.
get
well,
all the women.
maybe they didn't
directors.
want it to be quite as obvious. Like
Maybe.
if we go Wonder Woman, that's basically saying this is a Me Too vote. I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm
yeah,
not.
we can't ever.
I don't know the intricacies of the Academy that well. All I know is based, on the evidence of what gets nominated and then what wins.
Right.
So, Get Out.
I still have not watched it. It's on HBO, and I need to.
You do. It's a good film.
Yeah.
It's a good, solid film. Is it Best Picture Oscar? Possibly, but not when you're up against Three Billboards.
right.
That, in my opinion, is the movie of the year.
And that was I thought that was what I thought was the most deserving of from what I heard. I was like, Dunkirk, if it was back in the day when it was just the old white guy vote. I was like, Dunkirk would have won just because it's the big war movie. But I've heard such good things about Three Billboards that
Oh my gosh. I literally went home and said, when is this coming out on DVD? Oh my gosh, it's already out. And I ordered it like within 5 minutes of getting home from the theater.
I'll have to.
It is a great film. And Frances McDormand, no disrespect, to the other people that were nominated, Sally Hawkins for Shape of Water,
Yeah.
Margot Robbie for I, Tonya,
Yeah, no chance.
Saoirse Ronan for Lady Bird, or Meryl Streep for The Post. I've seen one, two, three.
I think that's
all but I, Tonya on there. I've seen those films.
and I think that was our call too. I think we said it was going to be Francis.
Did we? All
McDormand.
right. I don't remember. It seems like it's so long ago.
Mm.
I was not overwhelmed by The Post at all.
It didn't look,
I mean, it basically is, we've got this stuff. We could get in trouble if we release it. Should we release it? Should we not release it? Should we release it? Should we not release it? And that's the meat of the film. I mean, there's other stuff going on. It's kind of flimsy, in my opinion. I mean, obviously, it was acted incredibly well.
Well, yeah.
It was meringue. It just didn't grab me.
Gotcha.
I'm glad I saw it. Meryl Streep, awesome. Tom Hanks, very good.
Yep.
But it didn't really work for me. Now, Phantom Thread was nominated for Best Picture, and I did see that. I knew immediately when the nominations came out there was no chance in hell that it was going to win for Best Picture. Not going to happen.
Yeah, just not that.
It's a different kind of film. It's very slice of life,
Okay.
but it's saturated. It's dripping. It's scenery, not scenery chewing. I don't know exactly how to explain it, but the pace of it is Blade Runner is an absolute, it's Buckaroo Banzai by comparison. It's very good, and I'm glad it was nominated because I liked it, but it's not.
Did he win? I can't remember.
Oh God, no,
Yeah.
no. We just talked about Gary Oldman. Won.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
But as I'm, some of the nominations that we didn't go over, one was costume design, and as they're reading it off, I went, gosh, Phantom Thread deserves, but it's a movie about a guy that designs clothes. That's too obvious. They're not going to give it to, and they did.
Oh yeah.
So it won Best Costume
That's
Design.
good.
So it got a little. So it's now on the DVD release, they can put Oscar winner. So it's an okay film. But I'm a big Paul Thomas Anderson fan. I know that's somewhat controversial in some circles, and I like Daniel Day-Lewis in Gangs of New York. That talk about chewing scenery.
Yes. Totally.
My God, they must have gone through 500 yards of scenery just for him in one scene alone.
Yeah.
It was, and then of course the casting of Cameron Diaz, wrong. wrong. It's like putting Keanu Reeves in Dangerous Liaisons.
Or anything.
Yeah, well, yeah, anything other than
Bill and Ted.
Parenthood, Bill and Ted, and I guess The Matrix. Sure,
Yeah.
it worked in The Matrix. Get Out. a good film. It's very culturally relevant. It's very much of the moment, and it's very clever. It's very well done.
Yep.
You know, because I went into it knowing nothing.
Well, I still know nothing.
and
I
I'm
kind
still
of know what it's
right.
about.
And I'm still trying to figure it out and trying to maybe you know, and it does what now. Apparently, there are certain colleges, universities that are teaching this film.
Really?
Yeah, I was listening to Jordan Peele, and he was talking about how he sat in either on a class or a screening with a post discussion, and he kind of hung in the back, and no one knew he was there, and he kind of jumped into it. Everyone freaked the hell out because there he is.
Yeah.
And it's a good film. It's a good film. I mean, it's almost definitely going to be a Blu-ray for me.
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
I mean,
it's on HBO now, which I have now.
Well,
so I'm gonna definitely look.
get
in-
thee to your home box office. It's
Indeed.
at the very least to be culturally relevant
right.
yourself. You need to see this film,
Yeah.
so you know from what people. There's certain things in the zeitgeist that you just have to imbibe. It's the reason why at one point I read the Bible, because the quotes are everywhere.
Yeah.
There are parables and stories and everything that relate back to that. It's like you need to know your mythology, you need to know your Bible, you need to know certain parts of history just to understand what the more, shall we say, learned people, for
Yeah.
lack of a better term, are even talking about.
If you want to understand the origins of 80% of the expressions we use these days,
Shakespeare and the Bible.
Hamlet. Read Hamlet or see a production of Hamlet, even better. Because I saw a wonderful all-female production of Hamlet that was done here in Atlanta, and it was amazing.
And that was really good that they did that, because that's where we got the term "bitches be tripping."
Right.
I mean, Shakespeare just eloquently put that.
But no, like I was sitting there watching Hamlet and going, oh, I've heard now I know where every expression I've ever heard comes
Exactly.
from.
You hit Shakespeare in the Bible, you're well on your way.
Yes,
You're
yes,
well
yes,
on your
yes.
way. So yes, in my opinion, Three Billboards, hands down, best film of the year for me personally. More culturally relevant, definitely Get Out.
Well, Get Out won Best Screenplay.
It did,
Which is
And
wonderful.
Let's talk about that, because I was really, that was the only award where I was gonna throw down if that didn't win, because it deserved it.
Got it.
It absolutely deserved it. And I think I posted something along the lines like, I'm gonna set a number of things on fire if it does not get the award. It was up, and that's tough for me to say because it was up against Three Billboards.
Mm-hmm.
I love that film. Sam Rockwell, Best Supporting Actor, hands down. I mean, no one could touch him in that role.
And here's the thing: he's one of those guys who's been great in everything for 20 years, and people didn't know his name.
Right.
He's done all kinds of weird crap. I mean, he's in the Green Mile. He was Zaphod Beeblebrox in the Hitchhiker's
Right.
movie.
Well, he's the one that's been a working actor for years and years.
Yeah.
And now everyone's going, "Oh my gosh, I love this guy. Where did he come from?" Like, he's been around.
He's been here
You've seen him before.
in a ton of things. And,
Right.
he's done his Charlie's Angels, and he's done his.
You know what?
Everybody has those.
What Sean Connery did The Rock.
Yeah.
But he also did more films with gravitas, like Zardoz.
Right. Yeah.
He roams the countryside looking for tacos. The other ones for original screenplay were Shape of Water, Lady Bird, and Big Sick. Haven't seen Big Sick, would like to.
Yeah, I want
That
to.
seems
a
like
lot.
it could be a good, funny thing. I'm glad it got a nomination. I didn't think it would win, and it didn't.
No, it was too small, but
Yeah.
it's the true story of Camille Nanjiani
Right, exactly.
and Emily Gordon.
Exactly.
They're-
And that gives it even more heft, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's not just, I'm going to come
It's
up
not
with
just a clever
Yeah.
story. This is what they went through.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Lady Bird, it was good. If it hadn't gotten such, frenzied acclaim in certain circles.
Oh, it was one of those where
It's like,
It didn't live up to its own
Well,
hype.
it's exactly on its own. Don't listen to what anybody else says. It was good. It was good. It was fine. I mean, I've heard some people say it was just one step above mediocre. I could see where you say that, but there are certain types of films that certain people, I mean, just don't care to see.
Yeah.
And for me, the slice of life films, like this one is, that's right up my alley.
Yeah, I like those.
You
I like
know,
those kind of.
and-
You're lost in translations, and you're
Exactly.
Yeah.
What happens in Lost in Translation?
guy
They
get-
hang out a bit, do some karaoke, and then they
and
say
then he leaves.
goodbye.
Yeah.
And you think, wow, that sounds boring as hell. Like, no. That film has a scene that I cannot watch that film with anybody else because there's one scene in there that wrecks me, destroys me.
In Lost in Translation.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's the karaoke scene.
Oh, okay.
I'm getting verklempt just thinking about it. And apparently there's a little controversy around Shape of Water. Just prior to the awards ceremony, within a week, 2 weeks, I think, someone said, hey, this really is very similar to my play, or I believe it was a play. And they listed the bullet points and went, yeah, that is kind of similar. I'm sure it's getting worked out in the, in the courts.
Right.
Or it's been settled or whatever. But I went, it's not unheard of that two creative people can't come up with a similar idea. But this is not at the same time. This play predates Shape of Water. So then they have to see, was there people that knew about that, were connected with, it's a whole...
Well, there's also a video going around on YouTube, and it is a side-by-side comparison of Shape of Water and Splash.
Yes.
And it's very similar if you think about it.
Oh, yeah, I've watched it.
I looked at the movie beforehand, and I was like, "Oh, this is Guillermo's Edward Scissorhands," and I was like, "That's kind of it." His quirky creature and the thing, and like the hyper reality.
His quirky creature on a more family-friendly-ish, although fish sex, not so much.
Yeah,
but,
there's a lot more masturbation in that movie than I expected.
But you know what? It got a lot of attention for the she fucked a fish type thing, whatever. But what I found more compelling is that here we have a deaf character whose life is not wholly defined in the picture as she's deaf. She masturbates. She does this.
She has a job.
She's a regular fucking human that just doesn't speak.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. She's not.
She's mute.
She's mute. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. She's not deaf. She's mute.
Yeah.
So she's someone with a disability that is not totally defined.
And that's not what it's about.
Right. In other words, if she could speak in this film, I don't think it would really change too much.
I think the parallel is that he couldn't speak English,
And neither could-
either.
right, exactly.
So that makes it a more of them being together.
Right. It works. So we'll see what happens in the courts. I'm not too.
It's not going to hurt the film really at this point.
It's already.
Hopefully, if it is too similar, maybe the guy gets.
I will
taken care of, or
say
the lady, I don't
this. I'm totally in favor of somebody taking a general concept and riffing on it to make something new.
Yeah.
There's a fine line between homage and theft. And one of the most litigious creators on the planet is Harlan Ellison.
Right.
And he has said on numerous occasions, hey, if you come to me and say, your story XYZ, I dig that. I want to kind of riff on it and do that. He will say, go with God, knock yourself out. Maybe put me as a thank you in the credits under the catering department or whatever.
Right.
But if you steal from me,
Yeah.
James Cameron,
Yep.
then I'm going to attach myself to your neck and I ain't letting go until I get what I want and justice is served.
Mm-hmm.
So that's from the person who protects his intellectual property more than just about anybody. And the whole concept of, hey, I saw your play. I've got an idea for a film. Can I riff? And maybe they work out an agreement, or it's, Harlan's more like I won't sue you. My word is my bond. Be on your way, which is very rare in Hollywood because it has to be notarized and put down in an agreement. But I'm definitely in favor of taking a concept, an idea, whatever, and riffing on it to make an entirely new or mostly new with some thematic elements into a new piece of work. Because let's face it, there's not that many new stories under the sun that you can go, that is entirely never been done ever before in any facet of the narrative.
Right. It's very hard.
There's always a
to...
kernel of, something
well,
that's
just
been...
structure even. I mean,
exactly.
everything's been done, and it's very rare that you can come up with a wholly original idea. Everything, has predecessors, and everything is built upon everything else.
I think the only thing that comes to mind is Memento.
Yeah.
That's a twist on there, and it's more kind of a gimmick, but it was used very effectively.
Right.
But anyway, however, theft, I'm 100% against, and if that's what Guillermo del Toro and Vanessa Taylor, who is co-writer on the script, if it turns out that one or the other or both of them were secretly just, let's do this in the film, and we're stealing, fuck them in the neck.
Yeah, and I would like to believe that that's not what
So would
happened.
I. I mean, let's face it.
I don't see a reason he would need to do that at all.
No, it's not like he's hurting for projects
Right.
and people willing to fund his art.
Yeah, he's got.
But you know what? Who knows what goes on?
Right.
So, adapted screenplay. Now that's one that didn't really have much of an opinion on. The nominations were Call Me by Your Name, Disaster Artist, Logan, Molly's Game, and Mudbound.
Okay.
I was thinking perhaps The Disaster Artist, because again, haven't seen it, but it was very highly regarded. A lot of people said they'd seen it and said, "Wow, it was really good." But what won was Call Me by Your Name.
Right. I don't know much about that.
Apparently, that is the infamous Peach Scene film. It's about a teenage boy, I believe, maybe 18, 19, losing his virginity to Armie Hammer.
Okay.
I think it's in an Italian villa. I don't know that much about it.
Right.
But there's something to do, like the infamous food sex scene in 9.5 Weeks.
Yeah.
Apparently there's something involving a peach. Don't know what it is.
Interesting.
Maybe it's a peach pie and Jason Biggs shows up and goes, get you some of that. But, it's a slightly, maybe 5-6 years older man, for lack of a better term, deflowering a teenage boy.
Okay.
But it apparently was done tastefully and nice. It's not like he was taking advantage of them.
Yeah.
There's been no outcry of, oh my gosh, this is pedophilia or something. Pedophilia is not when a 20-year-old person hooks up with a 17-year-old person. That's not pedophilia.
No.
I mean, technically under the law, I guess it would be illegal. At least in
it would
America.
be statutory. It wouldn't be.
Exactly.
It's not pedophilia.
If the kid was 12, yes, we can go there. But anyway, let's not get into that.
That's a whole
conversation.
different movie. Yeah.
Apparently, it was handled very tastefully, nicely, and there's been no outcry other than from the usual people that can't be happy about anything.
Yeah.
And the winner, James Ivory of Merchant Ivory. British costume drama. My boy. Remains of the motherfucking day, man. Howard's freaking End. A Room with a View. Come on, man. You know how much I love that shit.
That's good, yeah.
I do love that shit. Now, one of the big surprises for me, I honestly think I'm gonna list the films nominated in this category and see if you can figure out what the category is.
Okay.
Shape of Water.
Yep.
Mudbound. Dunkirk. Darkest Hour. Blade Runner 2049.
It's got to be visual effects.
Nope.
Okay, then I don't know.
Cinematography.
Oh, that's right. That was the other one. The Blade Runner.
Cinematography and Blade Runner 1.
Yeah.
Blade Runner 1. One.
It's a hard thing to say.
Pew pew pew. I was thrilled because, of course, having seen only one of the other films nominated, Shape of Water.
Right.
Yes, there were some visually beautiful scenes, But Blade Runner was pretty much 80% whoa cinematography.
Yeah.
Especially when they got to Vegas.
Yeah.
So I was very happy to see that because I think a lot of people took a pass on Blade Runner. I don't think it did all that well.
It didn't. It didn't. Well, that was the thing. It was
But much like the original.
Yeah, the original Blade Runner is, it's a very cult film. It's
a kind of a slow boil.
Yeah.
It's very it doesn't move very fast.
It's almost,
and then it has its moments where it moves very fast and then it goes back to being
it's film noir is really what
Exactly.
it is. It's film noir that happens to be in the future.
right. Now my question is when we're doing our 1000th episode just before our death, will we look back and go, yeah, Blade Runner 2049 is now as respected and beloved as the original?
I don't know.
Who knows? That's the whole thing. Time. I mean, how many best, Marissa Tomei, how you doing with your career as far as, A-list, stuff ever since winning your Oscar? There are certain films that may get the best Oscar, and then they just settle into the, oh, yeah, it's out there. There's no celebrations of them. There's no, hey, it's been 20 years since, whatever.
Right.
So just because you win an Oscar for anything doesn't mean that Time is going to, you're not going to be added to the Congressional Library as an important American film necessarily.
Right, and a best cinematography Oscar is not a real heavy hitter Oscar.
For me it is.
For you it is, but I mean, it's not like
I'm the kid that subscribed to American Cinematographer magazine when he was 16 because
of course you did.
Because I lived in Southern. Well, I also subscribed to Billboard, which, my God, what an expensive magazine!
I'm sure. Yeah.
My paper route really did not cover it. But living in Southern California,
I just mean it doesn't hold as much, weight as your best actors and your best picture and stuff.
Basically, actor, picture, screenplay. Those are the ones that get the so much. But you know what? It's all very important, in my opinion.
Yeah. And again, and like you said, I'm happy when any genre film gets acclaim like that because it's gotten us to where we are now with the deluge of superhero and science fiction films and them being almost taken seriously by the rest of society.
Right.
So, but yes, it was absolutely worthy of cinematography.
Oh yeah, and I bought that one on Blu-ray. Because now we saw that. Yeah, we saw
we did.
that, and we did a whole episode on it.
Yeah,
it was gorgeous.
It was.
Some interesting things from the Oscars. Greta Gerwig is only the 5th woman nominated for Best Director in the history.
That's nuts.
Now, Frances McDormand made a part of her speech about inclusivity writer.
Mm-hmm.
And as best as I can understand, and inclusivity writer means that the cast, the crew, and everything needs to reflect a diverse.
I don't
know the technical it has to be
what the breakdown is, but it's women. It's mainly women,
right. And on the surface, I'm for that, but when I dial down into the details, I'm really not. Because if I'm a director,
right,
male, female, whatever, I have my crew that I work with. And certain roles demand certain types.
Right.
Male, female, white, black, Latino, whatever. I don't want people who demand inclusivity writers in their contract may find themselves not being cast.
Well, I don't think it has much to do with cast. I think it's crew. I think what it is crew.
Inclusivity writer means that the star has can dictate inclusivity across the entire production. Now, whether that if you're doing a film set in a men's prison, you can't demand women, maybe some guards, maybe, or an administrator, but it's so where it butts up against a filmmaker or a creator, for lack of a better term, in whatever capacity, dictates to them that you can't use the person that's going to serve your vision the best. You've got to use someone else because they are male or female or black or white or Latino. I'm against that. Now, it's kind of a fine line, because in some cases you can go, yes, of course, this role could be female or black or
Again,
whatever.
I think you're
And the
misinterpreting
crew-
it. I think it's more for the crew.
Okay. And when it comes to the crew, of course, there's no reason a camera operator or a grip or anything has to be really anything other than competent.
Yeah.
I get that. But if you have been working in this industry, like Scorsese, I think has had the same film editor for 30 years.
Yeah.
If he wants to work with Frances McDormand, I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure these writers get negotiated. It's not
Right.
like a set boilerplate, like, this is it. Here's the percentages. We're cramming it into the production. And as long as it's, it's like, listen, I want to see at least 30% females on the,
Yeah, I
'cause
think it's even
obvious-
more than that is the actual number breakdown.
Yeah. I mean,
And I'm sure they're all different.
right, exactly. I mean, and the fact is that at this point, maybe there's not enough people to support, not enough females or African Americans or whatever to support certain quotas in all productions. But as some of them do, it brings more people into the fold, raises more people up.
Right.
And that gets to the point, like, down the line.
I think that'll open the door for
exactly.
more women and people of color to come into
Absolutely.
the industry.
Absolutely.
And I think that's kind of
or
what we
maybe
need.
first-time people that under the old quote-unquote system would have never had a shot. Like, yeah, man, we really want to bring women into this. Now, you've only done this one little thing, but you know what? We're going to give you the shot.
Yeah.
And maybe that's the one thing that'll just tip it over to be like, all right, we normally would have gone this schmo over here, but you know what? We're going to give you a shot. And I'm all for that, just as long as it doesn't impinge on the creatives being able to execute their vision. So,
Yeah.
so we'll see.
We'll see.
We'll see. I didn't do a deep dive. I did, kind of a cursory look-see, read a few articles, because people started
Yeah.
writing articles like, what does this mean? Inclusivity writing. I'm sure everyone in that room.
Because she just dropped it and left. Like, That was
Exactly.
like the last of her
yeah.
speech.
Well, that was literally the last two words out of her mouth.
Inclusivity writer, thank you,
And
good
then,
night.
mic drop.
And everybody lost their minds going on Twitter. What does that
Some
mean?
of
What does
them
that
are like, I'm going to steal that girl's Oscar.
Yeah, so some guy's like, while everyone's Googling what inclusivity writer is.
Also, some interesting facts. Jordan Peele, only the 5th black filmmaker to be nominated for Best Director, and the first black filmmaker to receive a nomination for producing, directing, and writing in the same year.
Wow.
Yeah. And he's also the very first black screenwriter to win for Best Original Screenplay.
Yes.
Sweet.
Yep.
Good.
Way to kick down the doors, man. That's-
Exactly. And you know what? The thing is that these are saloon doors. That door is going to come swinging back,
Sure.
and it may hit somebody and then come back the other way, because changes in, well, Jordan Peele got the Oscar, so now everything's good. That is not going to happen.
Of course not.
But
What's great about it is with Get Out and Black Panther, those movies, it wasn't just lip service. Like, these were really deserving great movies, and they just happen to be made by African Americans, and it just yes, we are in a weird time of change and a weird time of knocking walls down.
I don't know necessarily change. It's more
Progression.
It's more realization from certain people that, oh, I guess this, because let's face it, in Hollywood, nobody makes this is going to lose me $2 million, but it's an artistic vision I need to see in the world.
Right.
But they want to see the money. And as soon as, films that are, I hope Wrinkle in Time, I hope it does $100 million. Actually, the box office may be in for this weekend close to later on tonight. We're recording on a Sunday.
Yep.
I would like to see $100 million for the opening weekend.
I don't think it got it, but
Really?
yeah.
Well.
I think Black Panther still. Beat
Oh
it.
well. Yeah, it's freaking Black
But
Panther.
my point was, you know how Hollywood overreacts to stuff as well, and they would have. They could have reactionarily thrown all this praise on films that didn't deserve it just because they were made by people of color. And I'm glad that that's not the case. That these really great films are getting recognized as films to begin with, and then the creative.
Exactly. Yeah, I see.
You see what I'm saying?
Look, I'm politically correct. I love this film. It's
Yeah.
It's terrible film, but it's made by all African Americans. Like, still a bad film.
It's still a bad film.
You know, it's like white people have been making atrocious films for 80 years. You got to allow
But a lot
African
of-
Americans to make some crappy films as well, and not go, well, I guess that's it for them.
But a lot of Hollywood in this time would be really terrified to say that it was a terrible film. That's what I mean.
Well, with Black Panther, yes.
Yeah.
But keep in mind, there's films that are popular, and then there are films that are critically acclaimed. Notice on Rotten Tomatoes, it's the audience score and the critics score.
Yep.
And in some cases, the critics give it like a 20% fresh, and audiences are above 80.
Oh, yeah.
Because fuck what you think, we like this film.
Yep.
And that's, and sometimes it's the exact other way around, you know. I find Phantom Thread to be just a delicious slice of, and audiences
no one
go,
cared. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, Phantom Thread, I think, was in the theaters for like 2 weeks, and then it was gone.
And it probably wasn't even in a lot of theaters.
Yeah, well, it's like I
Couple
said,
hundred,
it's a tough sell.
Yeah, totally.
It's a tough sell for a lot of people.
Yeah.
For me, the only thing that made me want to see it is Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
I mean, Daniel Day-Lewis, I'll check him out. I'm not, I'm not a person that thinks he's not one of the actors where, he's in that, I don't care what it is, I'll see it. I have to know what the film is.
Right.
Because for every There Will Be Blood, there's a Gangs of New York.
Yes.
And you're
yes,
like,
yes.
no. Meryl Streep got her 21st nomination for The Post, and she was the record holder, and now she's broke her record again. So she's the most nominated actor.
Yes.
Full stop. Full time.
Not just
male, female,
not just actress.
dog,
Yeah.
species of little furry aliens.
Yep.
Yeah. Octavia Spencer. Now, she was nominated for Best Supporting Actress.
For The Help.
No. She won for The Help.
Oh, that's right.
She was nominated for Shape of Water.
Yes.
And I went, no, this is not her year.
Oh, no. She wasn't going to win for that. She
but-
wasn't. That movie wasn't enough for that.
Right. But unfortunately, with just 3 nominations, she's the most nominated black actress ever. 3.
Yeah, it's sad.
All right, we'll build on that. We'll take it for now.
Yeah, that those days are over. I mean, it's.
Let's hope so. But then again, like we're saying, I don't want to see people getting nominated for performances
being
that
black.
don't deserve it because they're, like you were saying, sometimes people, we can't nominate this other white person. It has to be, go on the quality. Keep in mind, perhaps the,
It's tough.
I know it's tough, but then again, giving awards for art
Is stupid.
It's stupid and futile anyway.
Yeah.
If anything, you're just going to see, you watch the award show for a bit of the funny monologue and some of the speeches maybe,
Right.
and just rooting for your person. Like me, I was 3 billboards across the board except for screenplay.
Yeah.
I was just like, give it picture, give it actress, and it won, 2 of the major acting awards, Francis and Sam Rockwell.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, good. In fact, I love that film so much. I actually sought out the other films that were done by Margaret McDonough, and apparently the only one that he also wrote and directed is a film called 7 Psychopaths. So I'm going to give that
I've heard of that, but I
Yeah,
don't think
I've
I've
heard
ever
of it
seen
too.
it.
I hadn't seen it, so I'll give it a shot. But something tells me that may have been earlier, not, but who knows?
Now, did you watch the whole telecast?
I did. It is the only award show that I will watch every year, start to finish.
Okay.
All the other ones, I'll just watch clips or read about the winners because I the entertainment industry likes to suck its own dick so often.
Right.
I cannot bear to keep
Now,
up
my
with it.
question is, did
Yes.
Kimmel make any reference to the screw up last year?
Oh, yeah.
Well, like, did he? I really wanted somebody to like every category. The winner would be La La Land. I wanted that. I think, or at least one of them.
It was referenced in the monologue, but then they did the greatest thing ever.
Okay.
Guess who came to present the best picture?
It's usually no. That's actor and actress. I don't know who did it. Was it like?
They brought back Bonnie and Clyde from last year.
No.
They brought them back. Yes. Here it is on the 51st anniversary of Bonnie and Clyde. Sure. You know, and
That's fantastic.
I went, you know what? That's wonderful. And there was some Price Waterhouse Coopers jokes in there as well.
Yep.
So it's good. They didn't dwell on it. They made light of it.
Well, you have to.
Well, yeah.
You can't like ignore it. Like, oh, that was a stain on the Academy.
Yeah.
You know, Arts and Science.
And I feel horrible. I still haven't seen Moonlight, and I need to see it.
Yeah.
Thanks to MoviePass, now I will be able to see lots of films. And I've done some research. I have some MoviePass news.
Okay.
We were talking about how the hell do they make money?
Right.
Well, here's how they make money. First of all, for those who don't know, MoviePass is a service that you sign up for somewhere around $9.99 a month. Sometimes they've reduced it down to $8.88 or whatever, but $10 or less a month, you get a card, and you check in on the app at the theater. You have to be at the theater. You can't just check in a day in advance. It doesn't do that. To see a 2D film. It doesn't work on special things or IMAX
Or Fathom events
or 3D or anything like that. It's just for a regular old film. So I have found out that they are burning through millions of dollars because that card you get is an actual credit card. And they are paying full price for every ticket you buy. Because when I used it the first time, I got a receipt back that said, "You've seen Black Panther, $15.24." I went, I was under the impression that maybe they had worked out deals. Nope, no deals.
So is it gonna be?
They are paying full price for every ticket that is used.
So
Here's the thing.
okay.
They're gathering information. A lot of movie tickets are quote-unquote cash sales that are walk-ups. There's no way to quantify that data. Now they're able to utilize your movie habits, what you see, where you see, and there are in-app pushes for certain films. And they've already done contracts with certain studios and certain individual productions to push these movies through the MoviePass app.
Interesting.
They're selling information, and they know at the beginning they are just bleeding cash, going and going and going, but they're starting to make money back for basically data. It's all about data.
Oh.
You know, they know.
And again, I still think it's what we said. It's the gym membership paradigm
Exactly.
model.
Some people will, at first I had it in my wallet for after we saw Black Panther, I'd had the card for maybe 2 days, but then I didn't see anything for 2 weeks. But then in 1 week, I saw Lady Bird, The Post. We saw, what else have I seen? Lady Bird, The Post, 3 Billboards.
Mm-hmm.
And just last night, I went and saw Annihilation.
You did? Okay.
I did. Huh?
Glowing review, I see. Or are you just confused by it?
No, it's fairly straightforward. I mean, it's not a film that gives you every last answer down to the birth video of every character or every quote-unquote entity or whatever that's in the film. it leaves you with perhaps a few questions at the end, but it fairly well explains itself, in my opinion.
Okay.
And it's kind of a new take on things.
Okay.
On the I'm not going to give anything away.
No.
We'll call it an alien film in the sense that there is an alien in the sense that it is an unknown thing that is happening.
Yes.
So is it extraterrestrial alien? Is it a new thing on Earth? Who knows? Not going to tell you.
Okay.
But there's a couple of decent twists. Oscar Isaac is in it. Did not know that going in.
Oh.
So, Poe is moonlighting
Right.
in The Shimmer. So it's interesting. It's an interesting film, and the way they leave it could be a sequel, but I hope not. It's one of those films where you told your story.
Yeah, and again, it didn't set the world on fire.
No. I read some of the the review blurbs, or it's a new standard of sci-fi. I'm like, no, it's not.
No, there's been heady sci-fi for decades.
I mean, after Starship Troopers, I mean, what else?
What else?
What else is there to say, Dan? Big fucking bugs and snarky dialogue.
Yeah,
and,
that's all you
what
need
else?
in life.
Doogie Howser looking
But
like a little Hitler boy.
Going back to the whole Movie Pass thing.
Yeah.
You are definitely the outlier of that.
Right.
You are, you are you, and looking around this room
I
and
hope
having
so.
knowing you, you are the last person on the list they are catering to. They want people who are gonna go to 2 movies a month, maybe because they think it's cool, whereas they're not counting on people who are gonna go every other night.
Yeah, I think in the last 10 days I've seen 4 films. And sometimes it's just spur of the moment. Like, God, it's 10:15. I go for a movie. I wonder. And I'm so close to Hollywood, 24.
Yeah.
I can be there in 10 minutes. So it can be a spur of the moment
Right.
thing for me. And I have literally gotten there like 5 minutes after the technical start time, which means it's about another hour to the film really starts.
Yes.
And check in as I'm walking to the box office. And I'm wondering if I could not check in and go to the box office, and if it would work anyway. I don't know how cards work like that, where if they can on the fly turn them on and off.
I don't know.
Because I know that the checking in for the film you're seeing is how they collect the data of what you're seeing, but does it also serve a purpose to authorize your card?
I would assume yes.
Yeah, because
they
if
probably
it's
have
a
that.
fully functioning, Visa, or in this case, I think it's a MasterCard, they would have to be able to selectively, allow for certain vendors, movie theaters. Like you can't go to Dick's Sporting Goods and not buy an AR.
Yes.
And also the amount on the ticket, because they know what the prices are there. And if you just check in for, say, Annihilation, and then say, here you go, and try to get the 3D thing, if it would kick it back at you.
Probably would.
Don't know. You see, that's something they have to do with the credit card processor.
I'm sure
because
figured-
they have to limit the scope of what can be charged on it,
Yeah.
where it can be charged, and the amount that can be charged.
Yeah, there's no way they didn't work all that out at this
I
point.
would hope so. So if Tower Records was still around, I might go and try to buy something in this movie, because they never even look at the card like, oh, you have a movie. It's just another credit card.
Oh, so you just basically pay for the movie with that
With
card.
that card, yeah. And I get the receipt. I mean, I'm still earning all my Regal reward points that in another 5 years entitles me to a small popcorn.
Right.
Some bullshit like that. But for them, it's a complete cash sale. And that's why a lot of these exhibitors like AMC hates Movie Pass.
Yeah.
But they can't do anything about it because they're paying full price for every ticket. So AMC can't bar them from doing it.
Yep.
So basically AMC's complaint is that by doing this, you're lowering the value of movies. Because if people think, gosh, I can see all the movies I want for $9.99, why would I, if Movie Pass went away or the price went up, why would I want to spend more when I know where the value, where it lies? What people don't understand, if they haven't done a little of the research I've done, is that they are hemorrhaging money like you would not believe.
Yeah.
They say they're going to have like 5 million subscribers by the summer.
Yeah.
And if they're doing even one film a month, unless they're going to like a bargain theater, they're already losing money on that first ticket.
Yeah. Because most movies are at least $11 at this point.
Exactly. And, the prime time, Saturday night, Friday night, whatever films are, at least at Hollywood 24, are 15 and some change.
Yeah.
So automatically, by buying one ticket with MoviePass, I've already made back the entire, price that I've already laid out. So it's kind of like the Netflix model, That's the same concept.
Mm-hmm.
I have the 3-out plan, and I take care of those and get them right back into the mail very quickly so they can get
And
more.
you're one of the few. Again, a lot of people
Exactly.
most people just do streaming at this point.
Yep.
Even though you still can't get a lot of stuff you still can't get everything on streaming.
You cannot. But let me tell you, if you've already run through everything on streaming, you're watching far too many
Yeah, you
films.
possibly can't.
Exactly. And I'm already at the point now where, Wrinkle in Time came out. I'm going to see that. But there's nothing else. I looked at the list and went, I'm not interested in Hurricane Theft or whatever, Hurricane Heist.
Remember we saw the trailer for that?
It looked kind of bizarre.
It looked terrible.
Yeah, just, so just because I could see a movie every day doesn't mean I even want to.
Yeah.
Because, I went and saw The Post and Lady Bird because one was they were both nominated. One I wanted to see, definitely Lady Bird. Post, I could take her or leave. I went, Streep, always good.
Yeah.
But right now, aside from Wrinkle in Time, that's it. I'm done. There's nothing else for me to see.
Right now, yeah. Ready Player One is 3 weeks out, something like that.
2 weeks out.
2 weeks out.
And and I was looking at the posters in the theaters, like, oh, that's dropping next week, 2 weeks, So,
oh yeah,
this next week it's Wrinkle in Time, and there's nothing else for me.
Right.
But by the end of March, I'll have another
3 or 4 at least.
Exactly, and I'm gonna do it. So one of the interesting things, back to the Oscars for a hot second.
Yeah.
3 Billboards actually had 2 nominations in the same category.
Oh yeah. Who?
Sam Rockwell, who won the award, but also Woody Harrelson
Really?
got a nomination. And I'm not going to say it wasn't deserved, but he was being Woody.
Yeah.
It was good, and his character had a lot more dimension and depth than I'm used to seeing him in
Well, that's good.
in many things. Although let's face it, for a guy who got his first big break on Cheers,
Yep.
he's really done well for himself.
Yes.
Holy crap. Richard Jenkins, I honestly thought he was probably going to get it
He
because
was great.
this is before I saw 3 Billboards.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to get it just because he's overdue for something. And I thought that might have been one of those overdue situations.
Yeah.
But after seeing 3 Billboards, hand to God, I said, Sam frickin' Rockwell for this sucker, because he put on a tour de frickin' force in that film.
Yep.
He was every bit as formidable as Frances McDormand in it. And the fact that they were on opposite sides in the film made it even sweeter, And also for Best Supporting Actress, Allison Janney.
Yes.
For a little film that we know someone who was, we're good friends with somebody who was in that film and did a scene with Allison Janney.
Yeah.
Local Atlanta playwright, actress, and bon vivant around town. Bon vivante.
And former podcast guest on this show.
Suhaila Elatar.
Yeah.
She is the Elatar of all Elatars.
Well, her sister Sarah might have something to say about that, but
You know what? I don't know her sister, so nothing. How happy were you to see Allison Janney get that award?
that was great. Yeah. Yeah, I didn't see the thing, but and I haven't seen I, Tonya yet. But she,
You know what's sad? Neither have I.
Right.
And I need to.
well, I know somebody else in the movie too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, an actor named David Grinstaff, who's a figure skater as well as an actor, and I saw he had a scene with Margot Robbie as well.
Ah.
But
Yeah, it's kind of weird to see someone so staggeringly attractive kind of toned it down.
yeah,
In the sense, kind of like, for Monster.
Oh,
with
Halle Berry.
Charlize Theron.
oh, Charlize Theron.
And
Yeah.
she took it past plain and went into just wow.
Yeah, I
you
mean,
know,
she can
territory.
wait and
And the Academy loves that.
Oh, yeah.
You're so thin and pretty, but in this film, you were dumpy and horrible and in great pain. We're going to give you an award.
Right.
Which, you know what? That's kind of what it is.
Well,
You're
that's
acting. You are being...
transforming
You're,
yourself
you're
into
being
someone
other
else.
than who you are.
Yep.
So, and you did it very well and convincingly. So, go for it. But come on, man. CJ Craig got a fucking Oscar. Fucking CJ.
And she deserved it.
Oh, gosh, she's been in
she's
some-
always great in everything.
Everything. I even watched the first season of Mom.
Yeah.
Just because she was in it, and then I had to drop it because I just had too much freaking,
Right.
you know.
But I've seen bits and I've seen episodes and she's just
Yeah.
great.
For me, one of my favorite non-West Wing performances by her is in American Beauty.
Yeah.
Holy crap.
That's a movie I can't watch.
Oh my God. I love watching that film when I'm in certain moods.
Yeah.
But it's just because it has the moments where you're like, yeah, that's awesome. And the other time you're like, I'm glad I don't have a gun in the house because I might just, end it all. It's so depressing.
I said when we went and saw it was me and my friend Tim and his wife, and when we left the theater, he was like, man, I just wanted to get out of those people's lives.
Yeah. Especially, God, one of the scenes that just destroys me at the end when it shows Annette Bening just hugging his clothes in the...
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Oh, that's one of those scenes
Yep.
that you're like, hold it together, Michael, even though I know it's coming. And then you see it and you're just like, come. Now, I was very surprised by the nomination for Leslie Manville for Phantom Thread.
Okay.
In that it was, I mean, come on, it's Phantom Thread. It's one of those, just because I happen to not hate it, I don't know why that film got nominated as much as it did. That's
one of those prestige things.
I
think.
guess. Well, it's Daniel Day-Lewis's final acting. He's retiring from acting.
Yes.
For 5 to 7 years, and then he'll come back. Trust me.
Yeah.
But she did a hell of a good job. In
Okay.
it.
I didn't even know who she
Yeah.
is.
I mean, I've never heard of her before,
Okay.
and hopefully I'll hear more about her later on. Her performance was good, but not in the sense that I have to find out everything she's ever acted in, and I will see everything. I will rent it all, But I might check it out and go, oh, yeah, I've heard about that film. Oh, she's in it? All right, I'll check it out. That kind of thing.
Right.
Because, between MoviePass, Netflix, and my own, 2,000 plus library of shit in the house, I have no time to barely watch anything ever.
Yes.
Plus,
Yes.
and having a life. That part. Remember the part of having a life?
Yeah, I've heard of that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, well, you've got extra deluxe life going on with everything.
You take it where you can get it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, the one film that I definitely want to see that I haven't yet. We were talking about, or I mentioned Buckaroo Banzai previously. Mm-hmm. Well, apparently they are trying to...
Medication time. Medication time.
We ran out of time. I will tell you next week.
The 9 Billion Names of Pod was conceived, written, and performed by Michael Reed and Dan Bauman, with Abdul Beni Hassan as the sound of splintering wood. Research, transportation, and exasperated looks by Courtney Lohner. Technical assistance by Cubase, Pro Tools, Skynet, QLab, Deep Thought, Big Brother, and Eddie, our chipboard computer. Financial consideration provided by the Wayne Foundation, Stark Industries, the Piranha Brothers, and LexCorp. Legal counsel by the Offices of Howard & Fine. We didn't do a live watching of the Oscars this year because you guys hated it.
I don't blame you.
Our intro music was written by Tim Akers. This podcast was sponsored by Deep Shag Records and is a production of Audio Primate. Throw us a couple stars on iTunes, why don't you? Listen, watch on YouTube. Listen on SoundCloud. Stream us on Stitcher. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Or email us, comlink@billionpod.com. Until this happens again, I'm Dan Bauman.
I'm Michael Reed.
LOZ.
Audio Primate.